Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Life of 5. I'm your host, Jenny. Today we are very pleased to welcome a young lady with professional lawyer, Vivian. Hi, Vivian.
Hi, Jenny.
Can you introduce about yourself?
So my name is Vivian Lee. I'm a lawyer, and I currently work at Alloway and Associates, which is a law firm located at Don Mills in Lawrence. And I graduated from law school in 2015. I went to the University of Western Ontario. And so now I'm practicing in Toronto, and I'm very excited to expand my practice and bring in new clients to the firm, especially from the Chinese community.
Oh, that's great. So how did you become a lawyer? Can you share it to us?
So my father and my mom are from mainland China, and then an American lawyer sponsored my dad to leave the country more than 20 years ago. And so ever since that happened, he always wanted to become a lawyer himself, but law school is very expensive. So then he told me that he wanted me to fulfill his dream. So then I became a lawyer, and now I love it. And I basically just want to reach out more to the Chinese community and help them, mainly focusing on real estate and family law issues. So before people get married, things like marriage contracts and prenuptial agreements and dealing with wills, something everybody needs.
Tell us more about Alloway and Associates PC.
So Alloway and Associates is a very small law firm. We only have 4 lawyers, including myself. And actually, the 2 junior associates are 2 Chinese girls, and the other associate is 100% fluent in Mandarin. She actually got her law degree in China. So if there's any clients who don't speak much English, she could definitely translate while I do all of the paperwork in English for family law or for wills. And both of the senior lawyers at the firm have more than 50 years legal experience.
So what is the real law estate?
So in addition to our law firm, we also have a real estate brokerage, which is really recently opened, and we have a brand new office at Yonge and St. Clair. And so basically, usually when people purchase a home, then the real estate agent will charge a commission. And what our business model is that for one commission price, not only will people have the services of a real estate agent, but they will also have legal services included, because usually people have to pay legal services as extra when they purchase property. So then it really will save people money if they come to real estate and work through our firm, because we have real estate agents and lawyers in the same company.
Can you tell us what is the commission, like how much we can save on going to your real estate?
So right now, I think generally the market rate for most real estate agents is 2.5%. They'll take something in that range. It depends if they double end the deal or not, but you know, it's very typical. Maybe 2 to 5% is what the real estate agents will look for when they're closing a deal, and we are definitely within that range. We wouldn't go much higher, and then we also include the services of the lawyer. So not only just to make sure that everything on the agreement is okay, but we can also even give some advice to people who are not married but purchasing the home together, because then that a lot of financial consequences happen when you buy property with someone that you're not married to.
Yeah. What about friends? If I'm your friend and then we buy a property together, is there any problem we have to face?
Definitely, because when we purchase property together, there's different ways to hold title to the property. We could be joint tenants or tenants in common. So you and I are friends, but then if we purchase the property as joint tenants and I die, 100% of the property goes to you. But then if we do tenants in common, and in tenants in common, you don't have to split 50-50. You could split 60-20, 80-20, doesn't matter. But then when I die, then my portion of the property will go to my family, and then it won't 100% pass to you.
So in some cases, what about if someone in the relationship breaks up? What can they do?
That's a very common issue, right?
Very common,
so basically, if people are not married and they buy property together, let's say that you and your boyfriend buy property together, but only his name is on title. He can kick you out of the house. He's legally entitled to do that, right? If your name is not on title. So that's why it's really important to have lawyers involved when you and your boyfriend, or it doesn't have to be a boyfriend, but just someone that you're not married to, are purchasing property together.
In common relationship.
You're a common law relationship, but that's not really recognized in law to protect your rights as to the property.
I see.
So if you're married, they can't kick you out of the house. Even if you were married to a man who paid 100% down payment, made all the mortgage payments, he can't kick you out because you're married and you have rights to stay.
Common is different.
Yeah, common law is completely different. You don't have the same rights as married couples, so that's why it's important to have a lawyer. You know, just for a small fee, we can draft a very simple contract, just protecting your rights.
So why do people need contracts before they are buying a property with their partner?
So it's very important to have contracts before buying property with partner, because especially for non-married people, money becomes a big problem. Like who's going to make the down payment? Are you going to split it? Are you going to split it evenly or differently? And then if you are making different financial contributions to the property, does that mean that you own different percentages of the property as tenants in common? And then things that we can talk about in the contract are who's going to be paying for the insurance, property taxes, utilities, who owns the furniture when they break up and who has to move out. Can you buy out the other person's interest in the property once you break up? So there's a lot of complicating factors that people need to think about before they buy property with a partner. And it's just better to deal with them before things go sour, because then when you break up, you're so emotional. And then it's very hard to deal with money, and sometimes the emotions get in the way of reaching an agreement quickly. So if you have an agreement in advance, then when you break up, you just pull out the contract and be like, okay, we both agreed to this. I'm taking XYZ, you take ABC, goodbye.
So people who are like couples in common law should still have some contracts before.
They need it more than married people. Yeah, they definitely do. Because married couples, they have rights under the Family Law Act. So by law, they have certain rights to the home. So if you marry a man and he pays 100% for the house, if you break up, you're entitled to 50% interest in that home, even though you made no financial contribution to it. So you don't necessarily need a contract if you're going to buy property with your husband, but it's very important for unmarried people.
Yeah. So when it comes to family law, many Chinese people are concerned about making a will. Can you talk about like the wills?
Yes, we definitely do wills at our firm, and they can be very complicated depending on how much money someone has and how much money they want to pass on. And so everybody needs a will. Nobody knows when things are going to become unfortunate and they might pass away. But also wills are important because you can also have a power of attorney. So somebody, for example, if you become really sick, then you need someone to have the authority to deal with your money and deal with your health decisions. So it's important to have a will early in your life because not everyone can necessarily predict how long they'll be healthy. And so you have to deal with things like who's going to get all your assets, but also you have to deal with how debt will be handled. And maybe if you have a personal company, you can talk about how you're going to pass that on, whether you want to give it to all of your children in shares or you're only going to give it 100% to one child. And it's a lot to think about, and we definitely welcome people to come in. Generally what we do is we talk for an hour, right? So we write down everything the person has, everything the person owes, like debts, all assets, all liabilities, and then we talk about all the people that they want to give things to. You typically, you know, your children, your nieces, your nephews, your brother, your sister. People even tell me that they want to give away their pets. So recently I did a will, and she had 3 dogs, and she wanted to give them to her friend. And she was going to give her friend $30,000 for taking care of her 3 dogs.
$30,000?
$30,000 to take care of her 3 dogs. So in the will, you're just basically you're just giving away everything you have, right? And you just want to make sure that everyone that you love is taken care of out of your estate. And you also have to appoint a trustee because when you die, then usually one person, but it can be more than one person, then they take everything that you own and they distribute it according to your will.
Yes.
So then you can appoint a family member to be the trustee of your estate, or you can hire a professional third party unrelated. Like, for example, some people have their lawyer as their trustee. And the trustee's job is just to collect everything you own and give it away according to your will.
I see.
Yeah.
So when it comes to family law and making a will, it's very important for people who can protect themselves after their death.
Yeah, it's very important. And actually, if you make a will today, like, let's pretend you're not married. If you make a will today and then you get married, then your will is revoked.
Oh.
So,
what about divorce?
Well, when you become divorced, your previous will is not revoked.
Oh.
So actually, it's really important that after people get divorced, they need to go to a lawyer again and they say, I revoke all my previous wills and I make it this new will. Because usually people leave at least half of their estate to their spouse. But it's important for people to realize that when they get married the first time, all previous wills are revoked, and after they get divorced, they'll definitely want to redo their will. Because it's unfortunate, 1/3 of people who marry for the first time end up divorcing, and almost half of second or third or fourth marriages end up in divorce.
Okay. Thank you so much for Vivian coming to our show today to share a lot of professional knowledge, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.